Hello.
Hey,
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
So this is Annie. I'm the creative content producer, Joy. I'm having an interview with Paloma. So you wanna tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am a cartoonist turned animator turned game artist turned VR maker, and
Jack of all
just
trades.
jack of all trades, trying all the things. I just really want to see like cartoons, kind of like in different ways, and like I kind of always just like want to like create these like little beings that like exist in different worlds and universes, and so like games and virtual realities are like perfect.
Yeah, I saw your VR project, the trailer, and I actually play it. I believe we met at the Creative Tech Week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I was really fascinated by the whole idea of a museum tour. So I was like curious to know what was the idea or initial thoughts behind this virtual reality production?
Yeah, well, the initial inspiration came from just like these like mathematical shapes called the platonic solids. I was like really into these like geometric shapes and how they kind of like trying to understand what these like shapes like represent in terms of like 2D to 3D. And so I got really interested in like the history of like kind of like assigning meaning to these shapes. And I looked into Johannes Kepler, and he was really interested in like um, storytelling with like he's kind of like the first sci-fi storyteller, and I think well he's like the first person to write that like storyline where it's sort of like you start in a dream, or no, you start like on this like crazy journey and it ends up being a dream at the end.
Uh huh.
And so I kind of wanted to like play with that idea a bit, and so I came up with this like museum that you like kind of like explore experientially instead of just like as like dead plaques on the walls, you know?
I
Like,
see. You
so
get to
it's sort of like,
interact.
yeah, it's like come to this museum, but then it turns out to be this like dream, you know? And then you like come back out of that dream and you end up back in the museum, and it's like this is how you experience
Okay.
those things.
So there's like a different portals. You get to choose which one you go first, and then
Yeah,
kind
there's
of path
five.
your own like adventures.
Mm-hmm.
I also realized, yeah, because I was trying to study a little bit more about your work, and then you mentioned you really like the shapes. It's called polyhedron.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's by Kepler theory, and then
Yeah.
that sounds so interesting to me. How you wanna bring that idea into images, and how you reshape that, and then is it how you started with your conversation with Ashley Offen? Like,
Yeah, because Ashley O'Fine,
oh, fun,
she's
sorry.
yeah, no, she's an amazing poet, local poet in Montreal, and she has a editorial um, magazine called Metatron, Metatron's Press, and the Metatron, the like symbol that she uses is kind of like the flattened version of all the Kepler solids in one. And so it was like I got
Oh,
to
her
talk to
logo, right?
what?
Like her logo,
Yeah,
her personal logo.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So
I
I had
see.
to talk to her because it's like we totally are like inspired. Um, yeah, like
You
I
got
just
inspired with each other.
yeah, like we're both inspired by the same things. Like she's obviously interested in like how we like kind of like tell stories through this like medium, or like through like this like shape, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
all of her marketing is like about this shape, you know, and it's kind of like how do you instill this shape into people's heads, you know, how do you like
Mm.
make people like think of that shape, you know, like I think it's like the most beautiful shape, and it kind of like describes everything we know and see in some way. And
That is
so
true.
yeah, like also I kind of just wanted to like yeah, like look at that shape a lot, you know?
It's very interesting because I actually met a friend a long time ago. He said at the restaurant he see patterns everywhere. He's a coder.
Yeah.
So I feel like if that applies to like people who is more like imaginative, like they can see things in a different way, how people like perceive their perspective or things like that.
Yeah, totally.
So
Like if you look for the links between that shape and like nature, you know, like you'll start to see it.
it's
And
all
like,
mathematical, right?
yeah,
It's actually how you can link it and
exactly.
retransform and stuff.
Yeah, and I find that like really comforting, you know, like
Comforting.
yeah, like whenever you kind of like see like one of these shapes in nature and you're like, oh yeah, that's like, you know, that's just how nature forms itself.
Yeah,
Like you feel
actually,
really like
the leaves
yeah,
and water crystals
yeah, exactly. Everything is
is
just
just
like made of the
everywhere.
same thing.
It's interesting how back in the days we thought humans are reinventing new ideas for painting or making art, but I feel like at the end we goes back to nature and we just replicate what we see in nature.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Nature is the source of all knowledge, source of all everything.
This is really fun. Are you guys gonna publish your comic?
Yeah, I kind of want to. It's
Because I really like it. All the characters you shown. I'm gonna post a link in the interview too. But it's like I saw like you have different characters. It looks like a draft or a foundation of this Museum of Symmetry, the game that you're making with the NFB.
yeah, I kind of like developed these like comic strips to like describe sort of like the vibe that I want in the game because it's kind of hard to like be like, oh, it's weird and like, you know, sweet, but like, you know, fun. And people are like, what does that mean? You know, and so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like sketch it out, even if it's not like what's gonna be in the game. You know, I just kind of wanted like the people that I was working with to like to have an idea of what like the story and like the feel like the desires and the you know the fears of like the characters are,
I see.
and so that they can kind of like you know like change things because everything in the game was super like it was like pretty much stream of consciousness, you know, like we would make changes on the fly, you know, and it was like everyone had to know what the character was like, you know, in order to make the right kind of like changes because like I can come up with this crazy idea, but if it's not scopable, if it's not doable by the programmer, by the game designer, by like all
You're
these
right.
people,
You're right. You need to simplify it
yeah,
for
exactly.
practical purpose.
Yeah, and so like you know the game designer can like have ideas like, oh, what if he did this, you know, or like stuff like that, and so it made it easier if everyone knew what the characters were like and what the like environment was supposed to be like.
I see.
Yeah, our goal is kind of just to like make something experimental that was like you know for the public, and like we want to have it in like museums and like um you know like the National Art Gallery of Canada and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'd love for it to like to be available for like families and stuff, and like
To that people experience how cartoons or narrations could bring to the next level, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I would love to see more like 2D animation in VR because I just think like you mentioned here, it's like it brings a lot of soul to like
Yeah,
to the
that's fun because that was gonna be my next question. Is because
yeah.
I love how your hand drawn style give like organic, authentic touch to the like VR computerized environment.
Yeah.
That made me feel kind of warm hearted a bit because based on my so I do 3D. It's very cold and like cold feeling sometimes after building stuff. There's like we constantly need to figure out how to add that human touch to it. So I really like feel fascinated by your work because I can feel like as a kid I love cartoons and animations. Maybe you're the same. Like I feel like oh I'm back to my childhood. I get to explore what are the forests there, what is the characters there, and what are they doing. And I feel like as a kid I can experience that again with your game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah,
That's exactly what I was hoping.
I kind of jumped the question because I was curious to know what is your favorite animation character as a kid or cartoon characters?
I
Are you
really liked Archie comics. To be
Archie?
honest.
What is
Yeah.
Archie comic?
Archie, like.
Sorry, I don't
Eddie
think
and
we grew up in the
Veronica.
same environment.
Yeah. It's actually like super old school, but it was sort of like the only thing that was like available to me as like a really young kid. It was just like.
In Canada, back in Canada.
Yeah, like
Nice.
Archie, Betty, Veronica, like
Ah.
Riverdale. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you for the resource link because I have no idea. I grew up with a lot of Japanese comics
Oh right.
and manga.
I like manga too. I was reading really obscure stuff though, but like yeah, I was also really into like
Same here.
Animaniacs and like
Animaniacs?
yeah,
Huh, what is that?
Animaniacs and like Pinky and the Brain and like just
Pinky
these
and
like
the Brain?
cartoons. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I think
Saturday
I heard
morning
it.
cartoons.
Oh, I hope you stay here longer because every month of wait, it's a one weekend of the month in Brooklyn. They are doing Spoon Tunes and Booze.
Oh.
It's like a Saturday, Sunday morning show. You go there, watch 80s, 90s cartoon, and you eat cereal. You can add booze in it.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
It's fun. It's really cool.
That's so nostalgic.
It is. Like you see, what is that superpower game? Sorry, a team with a ring.
Oh, Teen Titans?
Yeah. They showed that last time when I went.
Oh my god, so funny.
I saw it in the Chinese
Yeah,
version
I
though.
love that. Yeah.
It's really cool. Um, but do you start drawing as a kid? Like, do you study fine arts or animation back then?
I didn't study it. I mean, like, I took art classes and stuff, but, like, yeah, I've been drawing since I was, like, since ever. Since I was, like, 3. I was just, like.
Same here.
Yeah, just, like, addicted to drawing.
Me too.
I remember my friend, yeah, like, I would just kind of, like, communicate with my friends, like, through drawings. Like, we would just pass notes, like, and,
Oh, yeah?
like, we would, like, add to, like, each other's drawings, and we would just, like, yeah, just, like, pass.
Do you do that game like you draw like a line, the other person will make another line, it becomes a different character than you imagine, something like that?
Yeah, kind of like that, exactly.
That's
like
fun.
that, but it was also, like, kind of like, oh, we would draw our teacher, and then someone would, like, draw, like, a beard on it, or,
Oh
like,
my
you know,
God.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still happening now.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Let's see. Yeah, I was also particularly interested in the characters you make. So I heard that you were making the characters based on the zodiac sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about like each characters because I know there's a dream catcher scenes from your VR game. The girl with the red hair.
Yeah, so the character in that one, her name is Dawn, and she represents like the first sign on the zodiac,
Oh,
which
okay.
is Aries.
Oh, okay.
And the first character you meet is the last sign on the zodiac, the Pisces.
Oh, Pisces. Okay.
Yeah, and so like the transition from like the last sign to the first sign is kind of like okay,
Oh,
now you're
cycle.
like, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's very thoughtful.
Yeah, and so her character kind of like represents like distracted, kind of like a really like fiery, like shining star kind of character that just like can't really like
Yeah. Short
be available.
attention span.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so she's like really distracted, but at the same time she just like has so many like ideas, you know, that she's just like yeah.
That's why she's playing video game while you do the catching
Right.
motions in the game.
Yeah, exactly. And then she just
Interesting.
jumps out. She's like impulsive.
It's so fun to hear your backstories because when I play it, I was like, "What is this? This is I don't get it, but I'm fascinated by it." So it's good that like to hear the actual initial thoughts behind them. There's another thing. I forgot what's this one with the flower.
Yeah, this
and
is Rococo.
Coco.
Rococo.
Rococo.
She's
Oh, this girl.
yeah, she's a Virgo.
Oh, okay.
And Rococo is kind of like a control freak in a way, and like wants like everything to be like in order and like set, but like she's also really emotional, and so she kind of like has that like breakdown.
This all makes sense now because I saw the screenshot on the MFB board and I was like, the character, why is she freaking out? And then now you mentioned because she's like out of control.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I see. What about the sunflower character or star? I'm not sure how to call it.
She's Gaia. She's just kind of like.
You have all the name ready.
Yeah. Look, we have like a whole backstory. Like there's
Gaia?
12 characters.
Is this in the same world as Rococo?
Kinda, yeah. Gaia's like the god, kind of like, like Mother Nature.
I love that.
Yeah.
Have you seen Ponyo, the Miyazaki film?
Yeah, of
The
course.
Mother of the Ocean.
Right.
Something like that.
Exactly.
That's cute. This is so much fun. What's the next character I was intrigued? I was like, oh, my favorite actions in the game is one of the portal. You can flower the seed,
Yeah.
and then the flower just blossom and they show eyes.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Is that what you
just-
imagined as a kid?
Yeah, it's so random. It was just like, because it's
So
sort of
cute.
like the Gaia principle is like everything's
Oh.
alive, like if these flowers like could see you, which they probably could, but it's like we
They
just
all have
need to like,
spirits.
yeah, exactly, like they're
I
like little
see.
spirits. They're also living in a way,
Ah.
and like yeah, like humans, we have like a symbiotic relationship with them. It's kind of
With
like
nature, sort of.
yeah,
I see.
exactly.
I see.
Like we need them because they breathe out oxygen, right? And
Yeah.
we breathe
We
out
consume.
carbon,
Yeah.
and they
We
breathe in
exchange.
carbon. Yeah, so we
Nice,
like need
nice.
each other.
I like that term, the symbiotic relationship with nature. What about this guy? The like a ghost with a green hair?
Yeah. No one really knows what he's a bird of paradise. Have you ever seen like nature, like BBC, like nature docs, where it's like there's like this bird that's like working really hard to make his like stage really good, and then he's like gets ready, like tries to like woo a female, and then like does like a little dance.
Oh, when they are ready to mate?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so they try to impress. And so
he's trying to impress?
Yeah, exactly. So
Impress
he's like,
who?
no one's around. Like
Oh.
I need like someone to see my dance. And
So cute. But these are around, these yellow blonde hair
yeah.
characters.
Yeah, true. But they were all asleep before you like lit them up.
Oh, I see. I'm gonna figure out how to translate this on screen so the listener can know what we're talking about. That's so funny. Also, this one too. This is like a heart-shaped person swimming in the ocean.
Yeah, those are manta rays. They don't really
Manta
have
rays.
like a personality. They're just like mantas.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Are they one of the zodiac characters?
No. But there was a zodiac character in this scene. He's like a little like sea monkey, like just like a weird like his name's Sappho. He's just like a
Sappho.
he's all pink and like I don't know if you remember, but he's just like kind of like an evil like
Evil. What sign?
He's Cancer.
Talking about yourself.
But like not like evil. It's just they sound evil. They're like excited.
That's so funny.
They're really like
Sapphire?
Sappho.
Sappho, got
Yeah.
it. So funny.
More like theatrical than evil. Just like yeah.
I didn't play this one. What is this chapter about? This ocean chapter?
Yeah, the ocean chapter kind of like it comes after where Coco starts crying, so it's sort of
Oh.
like her like emotions kind of like rub off into the scene, and it's like you're having an emotional moment, and water
that makes
represents
sense.
like emotions and rebirth, and like it's sort of like the last level before you like restart. You go back to the museum.
Oh, okay. I like the
Yeah.
thought behind it, like emotional water that is like, because there's a lot of sign there, water sign that triggers your emotion
Yeah,
easily.
exactly. Yeah.
That's really cool. What are the challenges you face making this game overall?
There was lots of challenges. I think like finding the right team was
I
like
see.
one of the biggest challenges. Because it's sort of like you need to work with someone that's like knowledgeable enough with the medium that they can like, make things on the fly and like, you know, um, be able to like make stuff quickly, but not so dependent on the rules of how you make a game, how you make like an experience and stuff that like they're really
So
rigid.
willing to experiment.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Willing to
see.
experiment and like yeah, has like an eye for like story and stuff, and it's a huge, really difficult balance.
So was Ashley a part of the narration with you for this game?
Yeah, she came in earlier than the development team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we kind of like worked on the story and stuff a lot, but it was sort of like going in circles until we actually had a development team, you know.
But this is interesting.
Yeah.
Do you feel like how I always remember John Lasseter who said like art inspired technology.
Yeah.
And technology. Wait, is it a different one? Okay, art challenges technology,
Yeah.
and technology inspire art.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is that applies to your like process of making this game?
Yeah, totally. Because it's like we would have like an idea that sounded good, but it like wouldn't like come off as an experience, like as an immersive experience, you know?
I see.
Or it would be too complicated because it's just like too many different like switches in technique and like mechanic and like we couldn't just like keep changing the mechanic over and over again.
That makes sense.
That
yeah.
would just be like so much money. Like we didn't have that much time.
Oh, okay.
So it's like we had to keep it simple, but like still have like as much art and like as much as like the story that we could, while
see.
still keeping it like cohesive,
Uh-huh.
which was a challenge, but so worth it.
So it's like you are directing and you have a producer as well.
Yeah.
And then the tech team, how many people? Like 5, 6?
Yeah, like 5, I think. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty decent. So around 7 or 8 people.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good team. We all really trusted each other, and we were able to like be honest, which I think is super important.
That's really good. Does this film reminds me of you, the little moments in life from the past, like your childhood, like playing experience or?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like, I feel like everyone has experiences sort of like in the dark and like, like
Yes, yes.
in the garden at night and at day and like underwater and all these things. So, I mean, yeah, I wanted to make something that was like as like encompassing of like all experiences in a way, which is
It's good. It's good. I actually went to the New York Hall of Science. They were actually showing something. It's like an interactive wall, and children can touch the wall.
yeah.
You have birds coming out that you can interact, and then they also have like a wood log, like you can push it, and then that direct the stream of the waterfall.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll send you the link later, but that's actually another very cool interactive piece.
Yes.
I feel like we can brought this to a bigger stage that
Yeah.
is projected on the
Yes.
wall,
Yeah.
and then people can do sensor touching.
Yeah.
And then the dream catcher is gonna be a physical dream catcher.
Yeah. So kidding. Yes. Oh man, that would be fun.
That would be really cool. I always wanna do an interactive project, but after doing 3D animation, I really wanna try to like bring my thought to the next dimension.
Yeah.
But it's always hard
Totally.
to actually like realize it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel that.
realize the challenges and find the team.
Yeah, exactly.
So I also noticed you have been making a lot of games with different ideas and different approaches. Like you have the one that is called
Gardnerium.
Yeah, and Aaliyah and Palm Street.
Yeah.
Like, are those like all different kinds of thoughts, experiments, and like you translate your own life experience into a different platform?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to do the same thing twice, I
see.
guess. I sort of want to like experiment with like the expectation of the person that like starts a game, and so it's like when they start Gardnerium, it's like, oh, this is an explorer game. It's really like simple. Like I just have to collect these things, but it's like it's not as clear as that. It's not as simple as that because like you don't get a reward necessarily like when you pick it something up. And so I just kind of like to play with that idea of like how the player is rewarded for playing. I tried to keep the reward really visual. Like there's not a lot of like there's never any numbers. Like there was in Alia, but just at the end, like there's no like numbers to distract you. It's supposed to be like a very like nature driven experience.
Organic.
as organic as possible. And yeah, I try to keep it as like intuitive as possible. So it's like most players don't get stuck. Like, oh, where do I go? Or like, who do I like?
I know.
It's like it's super straightforward. You
I
go into the
see.
sparkling, thing, and you go into the next room.
You design the visual cue for them in order to proceed, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
I see.
I just like things to be super simple,
Simple.
easy for people to just do, and yeah, I don't ever want to like really like confuse people or get people addicted or anything. I want people to be able to start and finish my games like right, the first try.
I see.
So like that's like the only thing that really like is like consistent over them all, but I like to like kind of like play with different like emotions, like I want people when they're playing Palm to feel really like anxious and like like there's really like strong techno music and it's like all these hands and like what's going on. And then in like Gardenarium it's like chill.
Nice.
Floaty.
Sounds chill already based on the name.
Yeah, exactly.
And Alia is like the one that when you went hiking you got lost. And then you feel like I want to make a game with Forrest. Is it?
Yeah. Well, okay. So during GDC one year, I went hiking with like a bunch of friends.
Nice.
And it was fun, but it was like they were really like talkative, and like walking really fast, and it was like I was just trying to keep up, like. But I'm
vocal wise and pacing wise.
Yeah, but I also want to like see what's going on, because it's like beautiful. It's like this is the reason why we came here, like I guess it's also for the fresh air, but I also want to see stuff,
I see.
And so I'm just kind of like trying to like keep up, like not trip and fall over the cliff, and like at the same time experience everything.
I see.
And so yeah, that's kind of like the inspiration.
I can relate because every time I go out to like hiking and stuff, there's a famous spot in New York. It's called Storm King. It's a sculpture garden.
Oh, cool.
I went there before, but all my friends also like chatting. Me, I'm just immersed in this like beautiful Zen environment. It's just so fascinating. So I didn't know what they're talking about at all. I just like be myself. And
exactly.
Or behind the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to take a lot of mental pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
I can relate to that. Like, but I feel like you did a lot of animation back then. What makes you start making games?
I kind of wanted like, I've always been really into landscapes.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so I started by just wanting to make like landscapes, and then
It makes sense with VR.
Yeah, totally. But the extension of that is like who is in this landscape, like who changed this landscape, and so then there's characters, and so it's just landscapes and characters. It's like, oh
This is cool. I really appreciate all your stories today. Like, it made me feel like I could make something like this too.